Are you ready to continue the Ron Paul revolution? Then take it to the wall. Put this in your home or office. RonPaulPhoto.com. A high-quality 4x6 print, shot, framed, and offered by Rich D. Young. Americans don't usually put politicians on their walls, but these are unusual times, and we are unusual people. RonPaulPhoto.com. Order yours today and receive a free pocket constitution. RonPaulPhoto.com.
Hi, this is Dave Ridley reporting in from Concord, New Hampshire, this May 6, 2008, and I'm standing here with Mark Warden of Manchester, who moved to New Hampshire in, 2007?
Yep, just last year, September of '07.
And what was your area of expertise when you moved up here?
Well, I've been wanting to be a political activist for a long time, and I've been doing it part-time in Nevada. I moved here from Las Vegas, and I've been doing quite a bit since then, so we're having a little bit more success here than I used to out in Nevada, which is great. A lot of good pro-liberty activists here already, and more coming all the time.
And how did you learn about the Free State Project?
Gosh, I've known about it for 4 or 5 years. I think it was originally through the Libertarian Party. Probably saw it advertised in the LP News.
And what was the trigger that made you decide to move out here?
Well, I was sort of in between jobs. I took a year off, sort of a sabbatical from my old career in new homes and real estate. And I came out here for Pork Fest last year, the Porcupine Freedom Festival. And really that was the trigger that made me decide, hey, this is great. It is all it's cracked up to be and more. The right people are here in place. The state is beautiful. The scenery is nice. A lot of livability here. And so that week I spent during Pork Fest in New Hampshire really made up my mind.
Of course, this is a sign of how big Pork Fest was last year. I don't even remember seeing you there.
I know. That's a good sign. I think it's going to be twice as big this year. Yeah.
How easy was it for you to find a house, a home?
I flew out here for 4 days with the specific intent of finding a place to live. Elected houses for rent, apartments for rent, mainly in the Manchester, Nashua area. And it was fairly easy. There were a lot of places available. If you just go through the regular newspaper and Craigslist type listings, you'll find something.
What's your response to folks that, and this is kind of just an off-the-cuff question, so you can give me an off-the-cuff answer, but what's your response to folks that, gripe about Ron Paul should have done better in New Hampshire? How come he only got, 8% in the primary, that sort of thing?
You just can't educate everybody. But I think he did better here than he did most places. I was amazed by the activism, Dave, that we saw at the grassroots level from people that had never been involved in politics before that rallied behind Ron Paul. So he did better than most other unknown or independent type of candidates did. And yeah, I was disappointed, but it's a good start. And as long as we keep the momentum going with projects like the Free State Project and some of the Ron Paul groups around the country, I think we're heading in the right direction.
Well, actually, he also did better in the primary here than any other primary until one that happened, I think, a week or two ago. So
right.
It was the second best primary result,
right,
if I understand correctly.
Now, Mark, what's something that's improved in your life since you moved to New Hampshire?
It all has to do with liberty activism and the understanding and recruiting of people that are willing to fight for liberty. A lot of people pay lip service in other states, other parts of the country, but here in New Hampshire they really do something about it. And it's not just the Free Staters. There are a lot of like-minded folks here that have been looking for a group they can identify with that's actually doing something. So I'm seeing some real momentum gaining for the liberty movement here. And that,
I'm sorry, I accidentally shut down the camera.
that's okay. That's better. That's much better than it was in Nevada, where I was before.
Oh, okay. Nevada isn't exactly the worst place either.
Now, Mark, what type of activism do you find yourself most drawn toward?
I really like the legislative and city-level ordinance type of activism. Today, in fact, we're here in front of the State House in Concord, and I've attended a lot of the hearings and committee meetings for state legislative goings-on, and I really enjoy it. It's fun to see the personalities of the different legislators. They're very approachable here. They kind of get the liberty message, at least some of them do, and they're receptive to the citizens and the taxpayers. I've done the same thing at the city level in Manchester, and again there the aldermen are very approachable, very receptive. They still have a long way to go and a lot to learn, but that's my favorite type of activism.
What's something that's improved in your quality of life since you moved to New Hampshire?
I'd say overall the quality of life here is a great social network. You have an immediate group of friends here with the Free State Project and what we call Friends of Porks, Friends of the Porcupines, who were already here and they just love what we stand for and love our energy. So we've incorporated a lot of them into the social networks as well as the political networks, and I have found that very rewarding.
What was the hardest part of moving up here for you?
The weather. That's an easy one. I knew it was going to be tough because I'm really a warm weather guy, and we had a lot of snow this winter. It was record snowfall, but as you can see, I survived, and as long as you bundle up and dress right, it's bearable. And now when springtime comes, it's a lot more impressive, or a lot more, you're a lot happier to see spring than in other parts of the country.
Mark, what's a favorite memory of activism that you have?
Oh, Dave, it was awesome. In fact, it took place right here at the State House in the building behind the Legislative Office Building. One day we had a rally, and some emails went out, some posts went out in the forums that we were going to come here to protest a number of bills that were coming up the same day for a House vote at the House of Representatives. And I just couldn't believe the turnout. We had, I think, almost 50 people. We all had stickers on our lapels that said Defend Liberty. And there were people there from all different groups, the gun rights groups, the homeschooler groups, New Hampshire Liberty Alliance, like the pin you see here on my lapel, and other people who were just kind of non-political or apolitical, but they knew they had one thing there, that we were a group that we're going to represent liberty, the side of liberty that day. And I think the legislators were overwhelmed by the turnout.
All right, Mark Warden, thanks for moving to New Hampshire.
Come on, I invite the rest of the people around the country to join us here in the Free State.
This edition of the Ridley Report is brought to you by RonPaulPhoto.com.